Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our seventh episode of the Roo Code Office Hours podcast. My name is Hannes Rudolph, and I'm the community manager here at Roo Code. I'm here to take your questions and hopefully show you some demos here today. The format of this is usually pretty relaxed, not terribly organized in the sense that it's scripted or back to back, pressure, got stuff going for you. I try to just take it as it goes and let you guys decide what we talk about. Okay, Dan. Is Dan gonna come here? Let's get Dan in here. Adam, you can join us too if you like. Hmm. Testing. I have audio. It's showing audio on my recording, so we are good to go. Just filling up here. Okay, let's start with questions. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just share my screen. Here, let's share this entire screen for all the world to see. Okay, here is Roo Code, and I'm going to ask it a question about um, tell me about boomerang tasks. And let's see what it comes up with. We're using Gemini Flash this morning. Okay, I'm going to take this one over here with indexing, and I'm going to throw an ask mode as well and say, tell me about boomerang tasks. Let's see what happens. You know what? Let's try it with codebase search. Use the codebase search tool and tell me about boomerang tasks. Interesting. Okay, so this one over here used something called codebase search, and it was able to find instances where the term boomerang occurred. Dan, are you going to jump on the mic?
Hey,
Hey,
actually,
everybody.
you're
This is
doing a pretty good.
Oh, sorry. Everybody, this is Dan. He is the guy who has made this indexing feature. And what happens here is I go into our backend and I've chosen OpenAI as my provider. And I've selected this model here, text embedding 3 small from OpenAI, and my local quadrant server and indexed. Um, Once I do a code based search, it will pull things up and give semantic understanding of your code base to Roo. This is a feature which we're hoping to release in our um, pre release coming out here this week. Dan, do you want to say something? I cut you off.
Actually, you're doing a pretty good job at showing it. Um, but yeah, the indexing feature hopefully will help Roo understand the code base better. We're still working on fixing some bugs, polishing it, and maybe improving a little bit the quality of the results. We're still tweaking that, but it should be ready soon, hopefully. And yeah, really working
Well,
pretty well.
what I did here is it searched um, and it searched a directory. It did a whole bunch of different things here. And eventually it found the files to um, come up with an understanding to some degree of what boomerang tasks is. Um, Whereas here, we were able to keep the context down 50%, under 50% of what it took um, the other, the non-indexing version to do. And you can see here, it instantly pulled up these results and then um, gave us an answer. And so, this is something we can apply to. Yeah, it's a reg. We can apply it to the entire database, and I don't know, ask it anything. Anybody have a question about the RooCode database? They want me to see if it can come up with an answer. Try to stump it, maybe.
I'm curious about implementation. So is any of these results re-ranked at all, or this is like the raw, I found all this stuff in there, Dan?
It is using a re-ranker right now, but
Can you
it
explain to us what that is for us
Oh, sorry.
other people?
oh, you want to explain, Adam?
So a re-ranker basically can go through a raw list of results in a nutshell and figure out which the top. Usually, you specify a lot of times the top N things that are most relevant. And so
Okay.
you don't get back all the results, you get back some results. And it's tweakable. I mean, the obvious one is I want the top N, and Dan probably knows better than I. There are all kinds of other parameters inside that you can use to re-rank stuff. And there's multiple algorithms to re-rank as well. So I don't know which
Yeah.
one he picked. He's just using quadrants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually using the one that comes as an example in Quadrant. Right now, I'm not. I'm trying to fix some issues, not not related to the result quality.
Yeah.
To then focus on improving the result quality. Right now, we are doing filtering by score, so the results have that fall below a certain score are not shown. But I'm trying to show the um, as many results as possible that are, of course, above a certain score. I can show in a bit what the quadrant instance is configured to do,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can see the re-ranker there as well. Just give me one moment.
Okay. So I'm going to try to show this off again. Um, I'm going to ask you guys for a question. Can you give me a question? And I'm going to challenge. Let's use Gemini 2.5 regular, not Flash. Do we have any questions? Anybody?
All right, no one's
Nope.
going to step in. I want you to ask the question. Uh, List all the files you have to touch when you add a setting to a settings dialog. That should be about
Okay.
14 files you have
List
to touch.
all the files you have to touch when you add a setting to the settings dialog.
Or pane or
DIA.
whatever.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. Um, and let's put one over here. Use codebase search. Um, I'm going to use code. I'm going to use explicit instructions here because we haven't yet reformatted or reworked the system prompt to naturally call this tool first. Here we go. 1 and 2. Okay. Now this one here came up with an answer. They both came up with an answer. What did we do here? I've listed the files that typically need to be modified when adding new settings based on the information in settings.md. Not what I was looking for at all. So it 100% did not listen.
Well, no, it did find it. I didn't know we actually had an MD file in there that told us what to do. Can you
Well then.
exclude that file in your Roo ignore or something and see if it works?
Well, I mean, let's just come up with a different question. I'll be
Okay,
monkeying
all right.
around with this on the spot. Anybody else?
You can also, uh, for now, you can tell it explicitly to search in a specific folder. So if the model thinks that what it needs is inside a folder, for example, you have multiple projects or you're working with a monorepo, you can
Yeah.
tell the model to search, for example, I want you to search only on the core folder, and then it's just gonna search on that folder and nothing else.
But it instantly starts with what it requires because it's an include in the settings.md. Let's see if it actually follows my. No, no, I don't want you to. Okay, let's just remove. Fine, I'm going to remove that docs folder. Can someone watch the questions for me and tell me if something um, comes up here?
Yes. There's another one saying, try asking it which code handles the highlighting for the mention in the input. That could be a
Okay,
good one as well.
okay, then I'm going to undo this. What did I just do? Um, okay, so the question will be um, find the code that is, what did they say? Which
Okay,
code
I'm gonna.
handles the highlighting for the context? Handles.
You can
Okay.
specify like in the UI. It might
Yeah,
help a little bit.
I know, but I'm just gonna see what happens when I just throw it at the wall here.
Right?
Okay, here we go. See, we have one coming up with. He's coming up with something.
Found it in the web view.
Rue is pretty smart. I got to give it that. I did ask it about boomerang tasks twice, once with indexing and once without, and um, it asked me if I the one without asked me, "Hey, did you hear about what is boomerang task? Did you hear about it like at an office meeting or something?" Um, and meanwhile, the indexing one just gave me a diagram and explanation.
Was
So
this answer correct? Does anyone actually know how it's implemented?
the code responsible for highlighting appears to be primarily here. Yes, that's correct, says Ellie.
You know what's also interesting is because we send, I think the default is like 200 files. When you do the initial request on Roo, it sends like 200. I think it's 200 files of the code base, not the content, but just the list of files. So that helped Roo a lot in finding or figuring out how the code base looks like. So that helps a lot.
Assuming
Maybe
they're
we
named
can,
well, which
yeah.
before indexing, they would have just got stuck in the Klein.ts.
The other problem is if you have more than 200 files, then it's not going to list everything, right? So
I think we do more
you,
than two. I think it's 500 or something
okay.
by default. I forget. I should know this. Um, So
You
here we
could
have. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. You could send a more condensed version of this with this new tool. For example, you can just send, oh, this is the folder structure of the project. That could save tokens, right? And
Yeah.
because we have this tool, it still wouldn't affect how Roo searches the code base or understands the code base. So that's pretty interesting, something we can explore later as well.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody? Okay. So, I think we had someone here. Uh, here. Who was it that ran Roo Code for 27 hours? You want to? There we go. There you are. Welcome,
Hey there.
Ashank. It's Ashank, right?
Yeah.
Am I saying it correct
What's
here?
up? Oh, wrong camera.
Oh, okay. Multiple camera guy. I have my phone and it supposedly can do handoff, but it
Yeah.
never seems to trigger. I don't know. It put it here. It doesn't figure it out. Huh. I bet you there's a way. I'm just too old
Laptop
for that.
camera, no webcam. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you can use your phone to hand off. Set it up on a tripod. It'd be wonderful. I got the tripod. I got the phone. But then you'd have to see the
Seems
rest of
fun.
the room. Okay, so let's talk. Can you tell us about the situation where you ended up with Roo Code running for, I guess, 27 hours? What were you doing?
Yeah, so I was in the middle of basically just porting a Laravel app into Go and Next.js. And this was currently like during my exam week, and I was really busy with studying, and I still wanted to keep working on the project. So I decided I'd try to do something a little bit fun and experiment around with the Roo Code, right? So I loaded up about like $100 on OpenRouter. Sorry, requesty.
Request
and
is awesome.
yeah, and decided to just try and stick RooCode on the problem. So I ended up having a couple runs that lasted around like maybe 5 or 6 hours before getting the full 27-hour run. But it was truly an experience.
How were you running?
Like
Were you running Orchestrator?
I was running orchestrators. So a couple of the things that I would like to mention are specifically like architectural requirements of exactly how you need to set up a code base to run RooCode for such an extended period of time. With specifically, you need to have a single source of truth, which I have mentioned extensively in the blog post that I wrote about it yesterday.
Which we will include
So,
in this video. We'll include it when we
Mhm.
post it on YouTube. Sorry, continue.
No problem. So basically, what I mean by a single source of truth is that you need to have something that RooCode will never touch, but is always verifiable by RooCode. So that's just to make sure the model can never ever get confused about what the instruction is.
Yeah. Okay.
So the way that I did that was basically by having the Laravel application. It already had a bunch of pre-written tests and exact business logic. So I was able to use a legacy code base as a singular source of truth and ensure that the model never really got distracted or never hallucinated. In addition to a good system prompt, in addition to good rules specifying to keep tasks extremely short so that context didn't really have a chance to get poisoned before the task was returned back to orchestrator.
Yeah. Okay. And did you observe it for any period of time? And notice was it functioning at hitting max context, or were your tasks actually maintaining the size that needed for the model not to get lost?
So for the orchestrator task, I was using OpenRouter with the full-fledged 4.1 as my orchestrator model. So I was having that million token context window, which I think helped tremendously with orchestrator being able to actually remember everything it needed to do and read the to-do list, remember to give all the instructions correctly to all the subtasks. But for all of the actual subtasks, I was using 4.1 on the VSLLM API. So I was just leveraging my GitHub Copilot Pro subscription there and using the 128K context. The highest I saw it go was around 80K in any one of the subtasks, and generally all the subtasks were like roughly 500K tokens in length, if that. So the way that I managed that was just simply by telling Orchestrator that your subtasks are junior devs and you need to treat them like they are stupid.
Is that how we treat junior devs?
Pretty
I mean,
much.
that would explain why people aren't so nice to me. You're nice to stupid people, right? Oh crap!
I guess.
I think I'm in over my head here. Um, okay, so that's really interesting. Is there
Mhm.
any? Have you tried it again since? Is there?
Since then, no, not really. I did try it a lot before, and a couple interesting behaviors that I did notice in my initial test runs were Roo Code giving me a bunch of gray screen glitches and what's it? Request too long, as well as no option given. I think that might be a limitation on the LLM endpoint end and not really Roo Code bugging out. But it seemed that reducing the size of subtasks helped to mitigate that a lot. Because I was running this on an extremely low end machine as well. I literally just had this old Lenovo laptop, which I just threw VS Code on and said, go for it.
Interesting. Very interesting. Can you talk
Mhm.
about how the testing system and how the testing went? Is what somebody said here.
Yeah. So for the testing system specifically here, I used the legacy code base, which already had a bunch of predefined end-to-end test and integration tests. So basically, all Roo was doing was copying over the test, then ensuring it failed first before writing the business logic, writing out the business logic, and then running the test again, then looping over and over until the test
Mhm.
passes. And then it checks back to the original legacy code base to ensure the business logic was actually lined up properly. So that was all part of what I'm calling the essential loop here.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, I have to look at your blog post. I haven't, I'll be honest, and I'm
Mhm.
hoping that it includes some of this guidance for people watching this video.
Yeah, if you want to just basically summarize the entire blog post in one image, I'm just sending it in the chat real quick. That is basically the loop as a flowchart.
Okay, I'm
That's
gonna load it up
yeah,
here
that's
on
the
the
entire
screen.
loop that was used.
Okay, here we
I have a
go.
bunch of
And
examples of subtasks as well.
okay, let's zoom in here.
Sure, I'll send a blog post link.
Okay, so it's showing here. Um, Start, orchestrator sends task to architect, so on and so forth. Architect analyzes. Okay, did you
Oh
go
yeah,
from?
another interesting thing that
Go ahead.
people
Sorry.
pointed out was my usage of Git for specific version control in this case, because if you actually did want to add more of a human element to it, instead of just letting it run for an extremely long amount of time, uh, Git is an essential part of the entire process so that you can step in at any point and just take control back from the agent without really losing much progress.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Awesome.
Anyway, you can please continue with reading it.
No, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna post it in the video as well. Um, Interesting. So your mermaid chart doesn't show it going back. It shows it starts, but it doesn't go
It
back to
does.
the orchestrator. Sorry.
It does.
Okay.
It loops all
Gotcha.
the way down. Yeah.
Okay. So your task here, it starts an orchestrator, sends it to architect. Um, let's see, provides the code, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, then it returns back to the subtask. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I got confused by the arrows. Usually, when I'm trying to explain it, I end up having the orchestrator as the center point, and then have it sort of
I
bouncing
got you.
back. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry for people watching this. I didn't show. So yes, we go orchestrator, architect. Then it returns back to the subtask right here. Let's zoom in. Returns back to the subtask. Then it sends subtask to code. So you're sticking here with base modes, architect, code,
Yep.
orchestrator, but you obviously adjusted their prompting a bit.
No, not really. All the prompts were completely default. I have a singular Roo rules file that
Okay.
has about like 15 lines in it.
That's what I have reverted to recently. I've tested a whole lot of memory banks, tried making my own, and I sort of deleted them all from the project and made more progress in the last day or two, um, just using indexing combined with this. Um, and the thing is here, the code base I'm working on is totally 100% vibe code, spaghetti code. The intention of my experiment is to see if I can get Roo to focus, make changes, and pay attention, even though there is contradictory code within the code base, which a lot of vibe code projects are, because the project that I'm playing with is really just a internal tool MVP. It's for tracking contributors, but it's nothing of consequence. And I want to try to figure out how can we give a solution to people that don't want to babysit as much. And so that's what I experiment with on a regular basis. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
confident when you use RooCode in the way where you're watching it continually, you can really make it do some crazy things. But in terms of just pressing set, pressing start and coming back in 10 minutes, that's always guesswork. Always come back and go,
Yeah.
that's crap. Retry, fix this. But when you're watching it, you see it good, 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 and then stop, cancel that. It starts going off track. You catch it, and so um, yeah, in the world of agents, all these agents being released, I would like RooCode to be on the top of that dog pile. So I guess that's where that experimenting leads, hopefully.
I absolutely agree. The only limitation that I'm really finding for RooCode and any other models for that matter, for agentic like usage of like coding models, like you're seeing OpenAI's new codex, right? Their new
Yeah,
fully
I've played with
agentic
it.
like background. Yeah. So the only issue that I can really see about this is that they're not following the model of a singular source of truth, which is why the model starts to hallucinate. It's unable to get the correct context and it's unable to really find its footing in the task list, and it's unable to really specify enough
Yeah,
exactly what it needs to do next, which is why the hallucinations start and you start getting random Unicode characters and your subtasks start breaking down into random useless nonsense.
yeah. No, I can see that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you
So
oh, go ahead, sorry.
uh, basically, another huge part of this is the to do, the giant to do list that I had. In the blog post, I'll just send a snippet for it here, but this is generally what my to do list look like. So I would have number one, the endpoint that I wanted it to like emulate or I wanted it to remake into Go. And then from there, I would link it to as many things as humanly possible. So it would have as much useful context to actually complete the subtask successfully in the least amount of iterations, which I think contributed extremely highly to the success of the project.
Yeah, here I'm just showing this on screen.
Mhm.
There we go. Okay, neat. I like that. Just taking it all in. I did find it fascinating the way you used Git, actually. Um, that's interesting. I've got to experiment with this because some of this is, I guess things are moving so fast. I have to admit that even I end up in a world where new things are flying at me so fast, and I'm trying to experiment and keep on top of them whilst still really helping Roo move along in the capacity that I do and staying connected with the community. Um, so I see new tools. Some weeks I just put my head down and I don't pay attention to anything unless it's like a major model announcement. But I pull my head back up and I look and I go, goodness gracious, some things happen quietly that really made a big difference. So,
I agree.
oh,
Things are moving way too fast nowadays now.
yes, they sure are.
I have a question for
Okay.
Ashank.
What's up?
So one, how much did it cost you to do this conversion, roughly?
Okay, so one thing that I did mention was I did use the VSLLM API for a majority of the subtasks. The only thing that wasn't using the VSLLM API was the orchestrator mode, which I use the full fat 4.1. So in total, this full 27-hour run basically only cost me about $110 all in, which I think is absolutely crazy that GitHub lets you get away with that many tokens. Because if I had stats, I'm pretty sure this would be well over like I think like maybe 400, 500 million tokens total over the entire 27-hour run.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
pretty
the second
wild.
question is, did you save your history in your checkpoints from all this?
I did clean some of them up because it took about 30 gigs of my storage and I was about to run out. But yeah, I do have a huge history. I have a video in general of me scrolling through all of it.
Okay. And second of all, are you going to release all the bits and pieces so someone could reproduce this? Or is the app proprietary?
By bits and pieces, what do you mean?
I mean, so like, for example, I'm just thinking this in Roo sense now. This is
Mhm.
to me is a great example of a real world eval that costs us less to run than one of our evals does now, like for O3 or for Claude or for Grok. Sorry, those cost over $100 right now for us to run. So I was curious if this could be a repeatable example to test against for Roo.
I think so, but unfortunately, the legacy code base and the new code base that I'm working on are currently proprietary, and I'm unable to really share the details of it at the moment. And that may change in a couple months if I'm in a position to open source it. But in the meantime, I recommend just finding an old code base that is written in something you don't like and trying to run the eval in a way that you can convert it into another language. I think that's the main use case of this type of thing, where you can just leave it running autonomously because the source of truth is simply that strong. You know what I mean?
I mean, the allure for me and for Roo would be that we know that it can be done. We know that the system will or can produce a viable output in the end. And like once again, it's a real world example. It's not a synthetic example. It's not a toy example. Anyway, all right. I hope you open source it so we could use it.
Yeah, I really hope I'm in a position to as well. But unfortunately, I was working on enterprise software, so who's to say?
Okay,
Anyway,
yeah, no.
I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat.
Okay, let's answer some of these questions.
Yeah, okay. I'm seeing one from Blazer Stars saying, did you notice a need to babysit the process over 20 hours? Uh, did your project work and did you have another agent clean the dog pile? So currently I am still doing code review for all the code, but as I mentioned in my blog post, from basic testing of just crawling around the pages and making sure everything works, out of the 47 routes that I had specified in the to-do report and 33 React pages built in Next, 39 routes and 32 pages were just completely working out of the box, which is such a crazy result to me. The fact that it was able to convert such a large legacy code base into new code just absolutely perfectly. Am I able to? Yeah. And for about the babysitting thing, I specifically didn't. I left a rule in my prompt specifically saying, do not ask the user any questions and do not require any user input.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was not something that I would recommend if you're working on like an actual production database yet. Maybe when models get a little bit smarter and Roo gets a little bit more intelligent. But at the moment, this was a great proof of concept and a great experiment, I'd say. Not really a showcase for something you should be doing, if you know what I mean.
Yep. No, I get that. That
Uh,
makes complete sense.
Tiburon Tech, GitHub Copilot won't be able to do that in about a month. So here's the fun thing. 4.1 is the only model that actually managed to listen to my rules well enough to actually continue this for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, GitHub Copilot is offering 4.1 for free as the base model now. So they
Yeah.
won't be hit by the premium requests. And I am astounded by that fact because that is such amazing value and we should absolutely abuse it while we can
No,
before
really.
they take it down.
As long as I don't end up banned, I've really enjoyed using 4.1 to be honest. I have found keeping the context under the 100K mark, even though it has a million window, uh, seems to really keep things on track. One thing I've noticed about these million context window models is that million context works differently when you're dumping it. You're one-shotting. You're saying here's a giant, trove of stuff, and you ask it a question, or write me this. But when you have an ongoing conversation back and forth, and it grows to hundreds of thousands, it doesn't maintain focus. So it's for extended tasks, it's more like 200,000K or 200K, in my experience.
Mm-hmm. So again from Tiburon Tech, they were asking how I got it to do its on Git commits. Personally, I've found that 4.1 really likes using CLI tools instead of MCP in my own testing. So
One of
that's just the method I went about it.
one of the reasons why Roo won't use MCP as much as people want it to is an MCP has instructions for what the tool does, but it doesn't have instructions for when to use the tool. And we've noticed simply giving Roo a tool doesn't always mean it calls it. Sometimes it does because it seems to be trained on a specific subset of tools like read file. So you just give it read file, it knows it's trying to read a file, right? You don't have to necessarily tell it to read a file. But when you give it something more complex like codebase search, well, how does it know when to use codebase search? So having simple instructions in the system prompt is key, and that principle holds true when running MCP servers. You might have the description saying, "Okay, this tool searches Discord users," but when should it search for Discord users? If you leave it up to Roo, it might call it at the most inopportune time, at the correct time, or even not at all. So yes, custom instructions need to go hand in hand with the MCP server you put on. If you just simply hook it up, it doesn't respond how you want. Question,
Yeah.
great Scotty Mac, would you mind coming on the mic? I see that you're here and you're talking. Are you able to get on the mic today? Oh, we okay, you can unmute if you'd like. Oh, he's trying. Microphones are complicated. No, I'm just kidding.
Mhm.
Hey, can
He's
you
our
hear me?
memory bank master over here. Great Scotty Mac is
Nice.
our community member who has probably had the most popular memory banks, Roo Flow and Roo Memory Bank. Is that what you called it? Something creative like that?
RooCode Memory Bank, RooFlow,
Mhm.
Context Portal. I
Yeah.
kind of fell into it by accident, but it seems a lot of people find it useful, so kind of sticking with it for now.
Can you tell us about your new memory bank MCP
Yeah,
flow
it's
workflow?
a database. It's an MCP server with that uses a SQLite database that also it does knowledge graph and RAG type of features. Um, Chroma database and so forth. So but it really, I'm hoping that it will be more efficient than a markdown file based memory bank system. With it's able to do searches, very quickly, and it can also easily export the contents of the database into markdown format. So, and it takes like 2 seconds to translate it back into markdown, so you can review what's actually in the database and edit as necessary and so forth, and then it'll import that data back into the database. So I don't know. That's pretty much how it works in a nutshell.
And how have you found that it holds on um, when working on a larger project? I often test these things by dumping them either into my spaghetti code base vibe code project for tracking contributors, or directly into Roo, which and giving them tasks that are, I don't know. I try to confuse them and I see how they respond to it. Have you done any sort of testing like that
Yeah,
to see
my
how it
issue is
responds
that
in Roo?
I don't have large projects to actually test it on, so I put it out there, and I'm hoping that people that do have complex projects that they're working on, or at least to test it with, can give it a run and then give me feedback. That's how I'm trying to make improvements on it.
Yeah. We will post this link in the video as well. This is an impromptu sort of introduction to your new context portal tool. I would totally give it a demo, but I did not set it up beforehand. I didn't expect you to be here. So my apologies.
So, and it does run with custom instructions, and even with the instructions, the agents tend to forget about it after a while, and you have to kind of remind them every. But it seems like this might be more easy for the LLMs to follow than the instructions for the file based memory bank system.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Well, I'll give it a try later today, hopefully. Uh, to everybody
Yeah, let
on
me know.
camera. Oh, go ahead. Does anybody have any questions for Great Scotty Mac? Okay, there's all sorts of questions coming about, but um, okay, someone wants to see code base indexing again. I will do that in a minute. I did show it on the recording, so you will be able to take a look at it, guys. I want to give a quick show here of the RooCode marketplace, which we're also looking to release in hopefully this week's pre-release. A big shout out to all the people that have really helped move this forward. It's been a heck of a project. There is well over 1,000 messages in the group chat going on surrounding uh, this PR. I guess the idea here is that we will be able to install MCP servers or modes and packages of them. Let's see. What do we have here? This one has MCP servers. Okay. I'll be honest, I haven't jumped in this in a few days, so it's exciting to see it move forward. Should I test installing something, guys? What's going to happen? Let's try installing Translate. It failed to install Translate. It does not have a binary URL. Okay, so this is a test. Do any of these actually have any? Nope. Hmm. Well,
I
it
think
will.
only one. Oh,
Which
sorry.
one?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The one that's called is Maestro. Yeah, that's the only one that you can install.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. Interesting. I'm not going to fill it out. I'm going to see what happens. I don't know what just happened. Did it install an MCP? There's 38 components here. You rule the marketplace. You know you can get on mic. Virus.
Modes.
So the idea here, guys, is that we get this to work not just simply installing MCPs, but we allow people to have sources, add sources, different repositories of these MCPs or modes and such, and then apply it to their project. This will make it hopefully easier for companies as well to enterprises to apply similar workflows across their business.
If you click on the share icon on the screen you were on before, you should
Yeah.
jump out to the GitHub repo where we have set up the sources, and it gives everyone else a description of how to set up a repo to share packages to other people. It's going to open a browser, but it doesn't bring it to front, so you got to go.
It did not do anything.
It might not have brought it to front. It might have opened a browser in the background.
Nope, didn't.
Did not. Interesting. Good. You're our non-technical user, Hannes.
I can
Congratulations.
break things. So we can't access the marketplace just yet. Give us a few more days to get this rolling. We will get it working, and then we will put out a pre-release. And instead of throwing it right into the main for all of Reddit and Discord to pull their hair out, we're going to be putting a pre-release out that allows the early adopters to break their system. I mean, to test out all the cool new things. I didn't say that other thing. Okay. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Do we have any general questions? I don't think I'm going to show indexing again. I did show it off already. I'm reading the questions. Sorry, it's so silent here. Here's my reading face.
Hey, I think this is a decent time for me to take my leave.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You mind if I just plug my Discord here? Or it's in the blog post anyway.
Yeah, you can go ahead. You can
Because
dump it
it
there
seems
too.
that people want to continue asking me questions, and
No problem. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on today.
thank you very much for the opportunity, man. Much
Okay, take
appreciated.
it easy. We are going to have more options on the indexing, absolutely. They are coming about.
What options would you like? Like what do you mean by options?
Well, this fellow said that, and I would think different providers for whatchamacallit for other than
Embeddings? Yeah.
yes, there we go. Complicated words. Different embedding providers would probably be a big one, as well as different storage providers. Ranking.
I'm not sure how configurable or it's going to be the final result.
I'm thinking the community will jump on it.
Yeah, I mean you can definitely improve what I made here. It's not. I wouldn't say it's perfect. You can definitely improve later. I'm just trying to get this feature up to a point where it's usable by most people, and then we can on follow-up PRs we can improve it more. With adding more, providers for embeddings, or maybe changing the vector store if we think that's necessary. But for sure, we can, like, once it's up into Roo, you can go in and change and open a PR if you find something that is not correct or could be done better. For sure, wouldn't be
Yeah.
an issue.
Hi everyone, how are you? How's it going?
Okay, there we go. I got your MCP, Vertex AI MCP server online. I did your install. After I did the install, it didn't show up in MCPs. I had to reload the workspace. So
Did you change the provider?
I don't know. I just installed it
If
here.
you want to use, okay, if you want to use it right now, I think you need to convert it to, uh, if you have Vertex installed, then just change the model
Yeah,
because
yeah, I got it
experimental.
going. I have it installed. I just changed the cloud project and it worked.
Yeah, but the model, this model doesn't work anymore.
I think it auto forwards. It's an alias.
Oh, all right.
What model should I put here?
Any model. I think you can also put Flash if you want to. I'm using Flash these days, by the way.
Oh, so what is it here?
Flash preview. Flash hyphen preview.
Do I need any date?
Hold on. Let me just confirm this model. This is a new model, right?
Well, let's see how this works. What tools do I have?
Oh, you got plenty. Just use the get docs one if you want to test it out. It's pretty neat.
Okay, so what do I do?
Just ask it, and you can
And
use
what
it in
model?
any
What mode do I
any
start in?
any in my for my workflow Maestro.
Yeah. Hmm?
Maestro, yeah.
Okay. Now what do I do?
Give any task
Mm,
as you would.
well, you said I want to use the MCP. I want to trigger it.
M- MCP you can use anywhere. You can just go directly to the researcher then if you want to skip everything and just use MCP.
Well, by the way, that was a pretty cool install, actually. That was very handy. All I did was jump over here, go down to the selection and install. And oh, remove. That's cool.
Yeah, Names
Try
MT
that
just
after.
added that like a couple of days ago, uninstall feature, which is kind of useful.
There's no way to get out of the how do I close this thing? Mm, Here I go. I don't even know what to type in here. It doesn't even know what's going on. It's going to research testing, I guess. Okay, so there's a simple demo of, oh, look at that, a simple demo of our marketplace. I was able to launch it up and install something. It is very beta, but yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. It's approved. What is the current stable version of React.js? Okay, look at that. I didn't put in the right. Someone said I have to put in the actual proper name.
Yeah,
I
I
came
just
up with
shared it.
something. Okay. Okay, let's reboot this and give it another try. Nope, didn't like it. I guess my vertex might not be set up properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Um,
reboot VS Code, remember that rule. When you change something, reboot VS Code.
uh, no, that one has to do with my I haven't used vertex in weeks. So, okay, I'm going to try to remove this package now. Neat. Let's see if it's gone from my modes. All cleaned up, back to normal.
Nice.
That was handy. So I got to test out that workflow and decide I didn't want it for the moment, at least in this project, and back out. It was very handy. Okay, got some metadata, some things it left behind, and there's our research. It researched that didn't work. Good answer, actually. I Yes, there is an MCP marketplace in Roo. It's just not a thing yet. It's almost a thing. It's a test thing. Okay, any final questions before we close out here in 5 minutes, everybody? Sorry, I've been focused on these little demos we've been doing. And by that, I mean just playing around. The demos haven't been, they weren't scripted. Sorry, guys.
Question from TG9682 in the chat right now, asking about a PR they want to propose.
Ah, we love PRs. Let me post a link for the best way to get this PR moving forward. If you head over here and you create a new issue for a detailed feature proposal, here, I'll show you. Head here, go new issue, detailed feature proposal, and here you can input exactly what you want to get made or make yourself if you check this box, and then we can have a discussion right on GitHub and get you formal approval or tentative approval. Sometimes ideas aren't as clear um, as the final output. So having discussion in this form allows us to go as a community. Yeah, no, that seems like a good idea. Then someone can put out a draft PR, and then we can review from there and go back and forth. So it's a more collaborative approach than in the past. People would just sort of dump cool features on our lap, and some of them would get shelved, some of them would just hang in limbo, and some of them would get taken on right away. Marketplace is not on the main branch yet. It is currently 2772 is the branch or the PR. You're welcome.
So to
No,
comment specifically on TG's question about the PR, so they're asking about headless mode. And so the person you want to talk to on the Discord is Chris. CTE is his handle, and he's the guy working on evals. And I believe he is working on a headless mode right now, kind of as one of many tasks he's working on.
right.
Because we run evals headless as well.
Yes, we 100% believe the idea of a headless mode to be feasible. The reason I showed you this website was if you had a specific idea or a way you wanted to, you would like to see it implemented, this basic detailed feature request allows for that discussion to be formalized and uh, get approved and turned into a task where somebody takes it on and actually gets this done. Because I don't like to give people lip service and just tell them, hey, yeah, sure, I like that idea. Maybe we'll work on it. No, let's figure out how to get it done as a community. I want to see things move forward. And if people have great ideas, I don't want to, stop them. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Again, it has been a pleasure, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys again next week. Please direct message me if you have any questions or thoughts, ideas. I'm always open. My handle is hrudolph on Discord, or you can always email me, hannes@roocode.com. That's HANNES @roocode.com. Have a great day.